Hello, it's Ruby, and in today's video I'm going to be preparing for a new academic year. And I say academic very loosely because I am not in traditional education this year. Instead, I am doing independent learning and guiding, organising my learning myself, and that does require some preparation. So I'm actually starting with my mini printer and printing out some examples of female independent learners through history, and I just went through and wrote some key thoughts about each of these, and I feel like there's a lot I can learn from each of them, so I'm kind of treating them as my inspirations for this year. Today I'm going to be preparing for a personal year of study, so I'm going to be learning and studying independently this year, and I'm still treating September as my start date. Basically, I want to learn things that I've never had a chance to learn in institutional education, but which I have always wanted to learn, so it will all mainly be related to English. I'm really excited to give myself the space to learn with curiosity at the forefront and just learning things that I find very interesting. In today's video, I'm going to be preparing for this period of personal studies. There are a few things I want to do, like organisation-wise, to get myself set up for this, but I'm also going to be planning a curriculum for myself. I'm going to do this loosely for the first 4 months, but I'm going to make a more specific curriculum for September. First, though, I'm making myself a coffee. I just did some admin tasks this morning because we're launching the academic planner tomorrow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Something went wrong with our domain yesterday, which honestly was very stressful, but it's just been sorted, which means that I'm now free to get on with learning. I'm so excited. Honestly, I've been looking forward to today for like a week. I've had it in my calendar as today is going to be like my personal study plan day. I'm just going to add some popcorn syrup. This is so good. This is my list of everything to do. The very first thing I'm going to do is make my map of things that I might want to learn about this year, and I'm just going to consult my iPad because I do also have a list of things on here. I have just made a rather large mind map of, if that will focus, of things that I want to learn about, and then there's also this one which are more skill-based things and books that I might want to study as part. Some of these are related as well. I want each month for there to be a specific theme, and then for there to be like specific things per week, and so I now want to go through this and separate it into a vague sort of curriculum for the next 4 months. So that's what I'm going to do now. I think I'm actually going to type this though, so I'm going to go upstairs to type that because my iPad's run out of charge. Next, I'm going to make a Notion page, and this will have my curriculum on and all of the things I want to read for every week. I've now made a loose plan for the first 4 months, and now I'm going to make a specific curriculum, like with a reading list, etc., for September. So in September, my first month is going to be on juvenilia, and so I've just planned week 1, which will be on Jane Austen's Juvenilia, which I'm really interested to read actually, and then week 2 will be on Charlotte Bronte's. I'm choosing both of these because they're the most famous pieces of juvenilia, and so they've received the most critical attention, so I feel like that'll be quite a nice starting point for like looking into this. So at the moment I'm just finding some secondary material on Charlotte Bronte's juvenilia and like looking for the best kind of essays to read, and I'm making myself a reading list of what I will read in week 2. It's actually, I'm realising I may be setting myself too much because there's like 10 hours per week for the module that I'm making, but also I'm really excited for this and I think I'm really going to enjoy it, and I can always cut it back if I feel like it's a bit too much. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Curriculum done. Okay, the curriculum is all done and I've just had lunch as well, and next on my list is to plan personal study goals. Now this is very similar to what I've already done, but it's more habits that I want to do every day, like reading an academic article or something. So I'm going to use the notes page, one of the notes pages in the back of this planner, because I want to try and keep most of my academic stuff like confined to this. I don't want to be too intense and like over the top with how much I'm going to do, just because I do have other commitments this year, so I can't really be studying full time, but still I want to come up with a few things. I prefer full study days as opposed to breaking up the studying, so I want to have one full study day a week, and preferably in Oxford. Write daily reflections, like 5 minutes reflections every day. And actually I feel like these reflections would be good to have in a different notebook. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is set up my notebooks and kind of study materials for the new year, and I was just going to have one notebook for everything, but I might also use one of the like pumpkin notebooks just for daily reflections on what I'm learning. I feel like that could be a really good habit to get into. So reflections every day, and I'll set up that notebook today as well, so I'll add that to my list. Proactivity, read 50 pages and update commonplace book. I feel like that's good and that's manageable, it's just not too much, so I'm going to tick that one off. Next we are going to put together some notebooks, in particular the 3 notebooks that I will be using. So first I've got this notebook for basic notes, like anything handwritten, so if I wanted to take like proper notes it would be in this. This is such a beautiful notebook, and it was actually made and bound for me by a viewer. I believe he has since started a shop, so I'll leave the link down below if you want to like take a look, because they are stunning. Then next, a mini commonplace book, so I'm going to customize this one for the first theme that I'm going for, which is juvenilia in September. And then I also want to set up a notebook for reflections, as I say, so I'm going to go and get a pumpkin notebook now. I keep pumpkin stock in this cupboard, so I'm just going to grab any one of these. Definitely not necessary, but I wanted to decorate it because I do love decorating notebooks, and also I've got quite a few of these pumpkin notebooks on the go, and so it's nice to have a way to distinguish them. So I'm using this sticker book, which is so incredible. I got this for my birthday from my mum's friend Jo, and it's filled with hundreds of stickers and they are just beautiful designs. So I made a kind of collage on the front and I absolutely adore the way that it turned out. I also filled out the questions at the beginning of the notebook. As I say, I'm just planning on using this for reflections on what I'm learning about. So next we are going on to an iPad refresh. My iPad is well in need of this and I just kind of want to clear it out and update it ready for the new year. So first I just went through and deleted any apps that I was no longer using or didn't need, and then I wanted to add a little like checklist widget on the screen with all of the things I need to like do and remember when I'm working in either a library or a cafe out. So I made a note of the things I like to have in my bag and then some things to make sure of, like my devices are charged. I have a very specific to-do list of things I need to do while I'm there, and also a backup list in case they don't have Wi-Fi, and also to make sure that my VPN address is changed. And to change my VPN address I just use NordVPN. I've got the app as well. So I just took that little checklist that I'd made and turned it into a photo widget so it would show up on my desktop, and
I'd always have it as like a little reminder.
So as you can see on my screen, I do have this like public workspace checklist of things to make sure of before I start working out of the house. And one thing I will always do is just check that my VPN address is different when I'm using a public Wi-Fi network. It's a great way to kind of keep your data more secure and just make sure that you're safer when you're on public Wi-Fi networks. And it's usually out of the house that I'm going to be using this, because at home I use my computer.
Now, to say that it's easy to change your VPN address with NordVPN is an understatement. It is so incredibly easy. You can do it in 2 clicks. Like, you've got this big map and then you just click on the location that you want to change your VPN to and it will change it instantly.
NordVPN also actually includes Threat Protection Pro, which is just a more enhanced way of keeping your data safe when you're browsing online. It does like a deep scan of what you're looking at, and if you, for example, go to download a file, it will do a more complex check to make sure that you're not downloading any malware to your computer. It also blocks ads so that when you're browsing they don't pop up, which is actually a really cool feature. And one thing which is also actually quite interesting is changing your VPN address and searching for something and seeing how the results change. So if you were doing any kind of research which was at all cross-cultural, that could actually be really, really interesting. For example, I was doing some research on coverage of Book Talk recently and just compared how searches differed between the UK, US and Canada. So if you do want to try using NordVPN, then you can get an extra 4 months for free if you use my link. So you can just click on the link in the description box, which is nordvpn.com/Ruby. And they also have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you start using it and you change your mind, then you can just get your money back and get a refund, which is always great and good for peace of mind. So anyway, thank you so much NordVPN for sponsoring this part of the video. And I am going to continue setting up my iPad. I want to create a different screensaver. This was my vision board for 2024 and it was specifically for the first half of 2024 while I was still doing my masters. So I want to make a new screensaver and I'm going to see if I've got access to that Pinterest thing yet. They were rolling it out and my sister has access to it on her Pinterest account, but I haven't had access to it and I still don't.
And so instead, with something of a hanging head, I turned to Canva and made a collage with Pinterest photos on here. This is very vague. It's not really goal-based. It's more aesthetic-based, the kind of feeling that I'm trying to channel, which is basically autumn. I'm very excited for autumn.
Okay, so next I'm going to buy a few bits for the new year. So I've got a list of stationery to purchase. The main thing though which I am going to buy is the books for my kind of set curriculum. I'll put you on screen record so you can see. Okay, so I'm first of all just going to go to my personal curriculum page, again on Notion, independent learning, September, and so week 1 is going to be Jane Austen's Juvenilia, so I am going to purchase that. The edition I'm actually going to go for is the Catherine Sutherland one. I had 2 options, but I'm a fan of Catherine Sutherland's research, and so I thought that her edition would be the best one to go for. So I'm going to add that to cart. I've got like a set core text for each of the weeks. So for week 2 I'm looking at Charlotte Bronte's Juvenilia. And the 2 that I was looking at are this one and this one. So, this one is not available. That's fine. So I will find another edition of this. I wasn't able to find a good critical edition of the Charlotte Bronte Juvenilia. Maybe I'm just really looking in the wrong place, but after doing some research I couldn't really find a good one. So I'm just going to go for this one, which also includes some of the Juvenilia of Jane Austen, and maybe I can then compare how the 2 different editions talk about Jane Austen's Juvenilia too. And the other thing I was planning on getting, though I'm not sure yet, I'm still deciding, this kind of edition of one of Charlotte Bronte's stories, The Search After Happiness. I think it'd be quite fun to like see how this has been marketed as something commercial. But the thing I really love is this here. It's like a facsimile of one of her pieces of writing, because she has this really distinctively small handwriting, as you can see here. Like, it was tiny and you have to use a magnifying glass basically to read it. And so maybe I'm gonna get this. I'll add it to my basket, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So the only other books I want to get are Shakespeare's. I haven't entirely decided what editions I'm going to get. So I want to read a few Shakespeare plays in September as well. I've got 5 that I want to read. I don't know if I want to read them with critical editions because I'm not reading them as academic texts. And I also do own a facsimile of Shakespeare's First Folio, which does have all of these plays in already. So I do own copies of them. I don't also necessarily want to read all the plays in the First Folio because that's a different reading experience. I don't know, I'm being like picky about this, I know. I'm gonna buy 3 of these books. I definitely want to buy Pericles, the Arden critical edition, because this is the one that my friend Holly read and she said it had really excellent footnotes. So I want the 3rd series, which is this one. So I'm just gonna add that to my basket. I want the Oxford World Classics edition of what was it? Oh my gosh, my brain begins with C. Cymbeline. My brain is not working. It's this one. I have never read a critical edition of Shakespeare from the Oxford World Classics, and so I'm quite interested to give this one a try. And I was also thinking about getting Henry V in a critical edition, but I don't know the best critical edition to get, so I still want to do some research on that. And then I'm gonna get The Tempest, this one. These editions are really nice. I've got like 4 of them already with various plays, and they're really portable, really easy to bring around with you. So they're all the books. I still don't know if I'm gonna buy the Charlotte Bronte one though, so we'll wait and see. So then next I am going to buy some stationery. In particular, I want to get the Zebra Sarasa vintage pens. I'm also going to get some more of these pens, the Pilot V5 0.5 nibs. The Zebra Sarasas and the Pilot V5 pens are my current favourites at the moment. I have been like actually using them up, and so it'll be good to have a new stock of these. 3 Candlesticks does such wonderful letter writing paper. I love the A5 one. The only thing is, like, I'm so torn on whether to buy this because I've bought this like 3 times. I've bought 3 pads of this in the past for letter writing paper. It's my favourite letter writing paper to write on, but the last time I purchased it, it came and like it was just terrible. Like there was so much bleed through with all of my pens, like including this one, but definitely fountain pens. I could only ever write on it with biro, which is not ideal because I like writing with either gel pen or fountain pen when I'm writing letters especially. And so I was so disappointed, and I kind of vowed to myself, no, I'm not going to buy this again. But now I'm convinced maybe it was just I got a dud copy, or like I accidentally ordered the wrong GSM or something, because it just felt like it wasn't coated paper or something. I think I'm going to chance it and get another one because this is fantastic letter writing paper. Then I'll know in future whether they've changed their, like the way that they manufacture it, or if it was just like a dud one, the one that I got. So I'm going to chance it. Success. I am actually so happy. The final 2 things are tech related and also slightly less like kind of academic focused. Okay, so the first thing is quite a big thing, and I've been thinking about buying this for like 8 months, since about January. I have done so much research into these and I've spoken with so many friends who have them, so I've talked myself into buying some AirPod Pro 2nd generations because the noise cancellation feature is meant to be so good, and I use my AirPods all the time, especially when you're studying or working. It can be really valuable to like have noise cancellation. I mean, maybe it's just a very bad financial decision, which is probably more it, but I am gonna get some AirPod Pros. And looking at prices, I'm gonna get them from John Lewis because they do free delivery and they're like £30 cheaper than if you buy them from Apple Direct, and they still do have a warranty, so this feels like the best option. I'm so excited for these. And then the final thing I'm going to buy is a new case for my phone. I just got this one online for like £5. I don't know how actually protective it is, and I feel like having a good phone case is actually really important because obviously like you spend all that money on the phone, and so it makes sense to spend a little bit more and like actually properly protect the phone. I'm just gonna get the phone case that I had for my old phone because I love this print so much. I've actually also got the same case for my iPad, and I'm gonna go for the Impact case. It has to be the blue, definitely not black. It's a shame they don't have the white option. Like I think for this one, yeah, they've got it clear. You can only get blue, but that's okay. Also managed to get 15% off, so £9.15 less. That's all of my kind of shopping for the new academic year, a bit of personal learning. I do actually just really enjoy attaching this journey of personal learning to like the academic year structure. I think it's quite fun, but I just kind of enjoy the fun and the structure of setting it up like it is a university module. I don't know. But yes, thank you for watching this video. I always love doing preparing videos, planning videos. I've got a couple of requests actually to do like a preparing for autumn video this year, and if that's something you'd like to see, then let me know. But also, like, let me know what you want to see as part of that, because I feel like I've done them in the past and sometimes it can feel slightly arbitrary, like the things that I do to prepare, and there are always things I do to prepare for autumn because it's my favourite season, but if there are any specific things you'd like to see me do in that video, then let me know, because like I want it to be interesting, or like including the things that you most like to see. I was thinking of doing maybe like decorating my room for autumn, sharing my TBR list for autumn, possibly like showing some outfits, but if there's anything specific you want to see, then just let me know. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week.